many people know that we had the guys from the China show on a little bit ago. And if you watch any of their stuff, you might be familiar with the term white monkey. This is a phrase that is used in China to talk about Americans specifically, but some Australians and Westerners, but white people in general, who are hired or paid or puffed up by the CCP or any kind of pro-CCP organization to come over and do videos and do shitty jobs kind of promoting Chinese products and that kind of stuff in the country. And these are called white monkey jobs. You're just basically standing there being a white person. And the whole sales pitch is, it must be good. Look, the white guy likes it. It's very weird. But they're called white monkeys because you don't have to be smart to do it. It's like himbo jobs a lot of times. That's a big part of it. Most of the time, by the way, they refer to these as the white monkeys. These are mostly the men who do this. There are very few women who do it because, exactly. Now, those jobs have gotten a bad white monkeys. That's what happens in France, you know. But this idea of the white monkey jobs, curiously enough, I have to say, it makes sense that Russia and China are kind of, you know, this is them right now. And it makes sense that they're, you know, they're kind of on the same team because Tucker Carlson may be our first, hold on one second, I'm going to ask something.
White monkey is
Vilja. So this may be our first Vilja, which is white monkey in Russian. He might be the first Vilja that we see. So, yeah. And this is, I mean, it's effectively, this is what this is. I don't know. The weird part about this is him kind of puffing up Russia and talking about it the way he is. He sounds exactly like the white monkeys do when they talk about China. It's hilarious. I mean, dead on. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, here we go.
The ways you understand a society is through its infrastructure, the places where people gather, the places where they go to travel.
Right. The fact that, 35% of the homes in Russia don't have indoor plumbing and use an outhouse. 35%.
You've got a lot of people in one place. It tells you a lot about the people.
Or it tells you about the place. It might be a center of power or prestige or money for the area, but it may be not indicative of the rest of the country. As a matter of fact, the more extreme the difference, and the more flashy the downtown area is, sometimes it speaks to the shittier outskirts. Dubai.
So with that in mind, we're standing in front of the Kievskaya metro station in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mean the flagship one, the fancy one that everybody has seen a bunch of times, basically, what's the word for it? The propaganda station?
Train station next to it. Now, the metro station was built by Joseph Stalin 70 years ago.
It's amazing what you can build when you don't care about human life.
And the question is, how's it doing now, after 70 years? So we went into it to take a look, and what we found shocked us.
Did it really? You haven't seen pictures of it beforehand? You know what's shocking about it? Is that it's got chandeliers and 35% of the homes in Russia don't have indoor plumbing. That would be the shocking part. Usually, the story would be the Moscow fucking train station, the premier one, has fucking chandeliers and old paintings in it. It's like an art museum. But if you travel outside of town, you're going to be shitting in a bucket. That would have been the story if you actually did a fucking story. Sorry, FBI informant charged with lying about Joe and Hunter Biden. Alexander Smirnov falsely told FBI agents in 2020 that executives associated with the Ukrainian energy company Burisma paid Hunter and Joe Biden $5 million each in 2015 and 2016. Oh, fascinating. So the guy behind the story just got charged by the. We got to look that story up. We'll deal with that after this video. After this video, we'll be right back.
Now, that's not an endorsement of Stalin, who was.
No, of course not. It's an endorsement of Vladimir Putin.
Bad, obviously, nor.
Obviously. By the way, if you haven't noticed by now, Tucker Carlson's keyword is obviously, and it is very similar to kind of Cenk Uygur's. Of course, it's a dismissive phrase or word used to kind of knock away any semblance of, if anybody has any criticism about it, like, well, you obviously don't listen to what's obviously true. You don't like the obvious. This is obvious. It's obvious to everyone, except the people that that know about it, that ask about it. Then it's not quite so obvious, as it were.
Is it an endorsement of the current president, Vladimir Putin? You may not like him either.
You do. I mean, you obviously just said something. Let's listen to that again, shall we? This would be a situation, if I may, where Putin has said, sorry, I mix them up all the time. Tucker said that Stalin was bad, obviously, right? That's it. Okay.
After 70 years. So we went into it to take a look, and what we found shocked us. Now, that's not an endorsement of Stalin, who was bad, obviously, nor...
Right. Who was bad, obviously. Vladimir Putin sends rape squads into Bucha, sends Wagner hit squads down to gut pregnant women in Somalia. Those things would be bad, obviously, to anybody else. But you'll notice that, Captain Courageous here shies away, begs off the same kind of criticism of Vladimir Putin and puts it on you. That's right. You may not like him. I obviously do, because I will die here if I say otherwise.
Is it an endorsement of the current president, Vladimir Putin? You may not like him either.
You may not like him either. How did this suddenly become about me? You offered your opinion of Stalin, but now it's my opinion about Putin that matters? Huh. It's very big of you. Thank you for sharing.
But it doesn't change the reality of what we saw, or more precisely, didn't see. There's no graffiti, there's no filth, there are no foul smells, there are no bums or drug addicts or rapists or people waiting to put...
Yeah, but you don't have Pizza Rat. I mean, come on. There also are all of those fucking things. Yes, there are. Just not in that station, because it's a propaganda site, not a standard station. So
push you onto the train tracks and kill you. No. It's perfectly clean and orderly.
Perfectly clean. It is. This station, this one station, is the one near the Kremlin, is perfectly clean and orderly. You mean the one that's patrolled by the secret police all the time, that has KGB agents staged in it all the time, or GRU and FSB now, staged in it all the fucking time, that is a conduit where the rich and powerful will also use private trains to fuck around in the rest of the city? You mean like that? All right.
And how do you explain that? We're not even going to guess.
Well, I would explain it by taking that train from the most opulent station to any other station outside of the, walking distance. That's how I would explain it. I would go, hey, this kind of stands out, don't you think? Very fancy. Are they all like this? Maybe they are downtown. I wonder what happens if I take this one to the edge of town. Maybe I'll take one of the heavily commuted line. I could go. Let's see. And you know what? Thank you, minders. I'll pick my own train. How about that?
It's not our job. We're only going to ask the question.
Right. That has already been answered for you by your minders.
And if your response is to shout at us slogans dumber than the slogans we used to call Soviet...
Why would that be? Why would you expect that people are yelling things at you for this take? Why are you so defensive all of a sudden? Could it possibly be that you're aware how full of shit you are?
And mock?
You know what? I tell you what. You don't have to believe me. Ask Edward Snowden. He's nearby, right? He's got to live within 2 train stops. He's obviously alive and isn't having his social media run by a chatbot designed to sound like him or operate like him. I mean, he's around somewhere. He certainly hasn't been sent to the front, right? He's not dead. So why don't you ask him? He's been there for a while. He'd love to talk to you, especially. I mean, you are, the emblem of freedom. He probably has some questions for you about how things are back in the United States. Now, I don't know if the train, your station you're at, goes by a cemetery.
It's not really an answer. How does Russia, a country we're told is a gas station with nuclear weapons, have a subway station that normal people use to get to work and home every single day?
Yes, but also everyone in the Kremlin and the government that is fancy pants and is meant to be shown to foreign dignitaries and tourists and propagandists, yeah.
That's nicer than anything in our country.
It's not nicer than anything in our country.
We're not going to speculate. We're just going to raise the question and wait for someone in charge to give us an answer.
Okay, who's in charge of what? Okay, first of all, all right, fuckwad, I'm in charge. Congratulations. Welcome to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, where I am in charge. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You went to one fucking station downtown near the Kremlin that is designed to look like artificial opulence by a man, Stalin, who killed tens of millions of his own fucking people. Also, one of the reasons why there's not all this these smells and these homeless people is because they kill them. They freeze to death. Along with, by the way, a decent number of lower middle class Russians on the regular. And also, there's no graffiti because you go to prison for that as opposed to just jail or a fine or something like that. And they use it to scoop people up. So, yeah, people will avoid graffiti if there's I guess if the sentence is equal to murdering someone. That also I would argue, limits your freedom to protest through graffiti. One is the other things, like writing a message about fuck this shit, I don't feel like dying in Russian. Also, prove to me you'd know the difference between Russian graffiti and street art. And anyways.
What is the answer?
What is the answer? What is it? Well, the answer might be to edit together a fancy montage of one station and pretend the entire country's that way. Maybe.
So we'll stop the lecture and let you take a look for yourself.
Why was that a lecture? Oh, I see. Other people are lecturing us about it. And you're not lecturing us. Other people are lecturing you about Russia. And he's going to set us straight with, obviously, facts about the station, where it goes, who died making it, how it's maintained, the cost to the average Moscovite.
At what the Kievskaya metro station in Moscow, Russia looks like today, February 2024, in the middle of a war. Here it is.
What? All right, we're fucking playing Disney music? Really? I was kidding. There's a lady filming you. Did you see her? She's with the Kremlin. She's filming you. Yeah. Oh, 666. We've hit the 666 mark. Please hit a super chat, giving us $6.66 or greater or less or whatever you can afford. If not, I'm just glad you're here. But either way, share the show, like, and subscribe, because otherwise, how am I ever going to have a studio with this much carved wood? This mural depicts people who are long dead, but died relatively shortly thereafter, did not live to old age. He was 14 when he starved. This is called the Day of the Starving Ukrainian, which is now a holiday, obviously, in this situation. If I may, try to do this in here.
The biggest loser is wood. I like wood.
Deeper and longer.
Yeah. What was it?
Deeper and longer.
There you go. You like wood.
I like wood.
Sure, why wouldn't you? Yeah, these are all government workers. The one functioning industry right now. And again, adorable. Haven't updated the lighting in a while. I mean, I guess if you're going to keep somebody busy changing bulbs like that. I like how the mirror is at the end so you can see it coming because, you know, or if somebody jumps in front of it, you don't want to miss. It is a wonderland. It is, isn't it? It's a wonderland. What are the other stations like? Yeah, that's a pretty close shot. I mean, I understand that stuff's been around for a long time. But I got to say, is there a reason you're not showing a wider shot of the street? Could it be that there is someone laying on the street? Cone where the latest suicide was? I'm not kidding, by the way. Like I've told you guys before, I have like 2 Telegram channels that I originally followed to get the Russian side of their argument around the Ukrainian war and the Ukraine war, and it's straight up just like, meanwhile, downtown guy he grabbed his dog and he jumped out a window and this person filmed it. This is Tucker Carlson shorts. Yes. And like all of his shorts, it's full of shit. Yeah. Watch parts 2 and 3. I thought that was number 2. I'm just
I like wood.
As you do. Yeah, that's that piece on there. Now, I might have to go and rip some of those, I heard, and show them to you at some point. But yeah. Also, so this is what he's done, like around this. So he had on a guy talking about the Jan 6 bomber and all this stuff. It's this dude. This is the guy who's been, he and Massey have been going after all this stuff. And they talk about the camera and why they didn't do anything and how come this and whatever. This is the most replayed moment in it. Let's see what that is.
Far worse when we contextualize this information in light of the history of our reporting on the pipe bombs, which I'm happy to get into, but I'd like to pause in case you have any reaction to this.
I'm stunned by it. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, his argument doesn't. I was just hearing it. Trust me on this. If you listen to it, he just asks a bunch of questions that are self-evident and logical. The biggest question seems to be the same with Massey and all these other fuckers. The big question apparently in Tucker's head and this guy's head and everybody else's head is, why didn't they panic?
Obviously.
Obvious. I mean, the whole thing, I don't understand a lot. Obviously. Say obviously again, motherfucker. Obvious? Is it obvious? It's obvious? Obviously. Obviously. I see. Okay. Why would it be obvious? Who's it obvious to? You and your guest who agrees with you? Obviously.
My first question is, who is the man who alerted Metro PD, Washington, D.C., local cops?
Okay, he already knows the answer to this. It was an undercover police officer. We've covered this video before. He's rehashing he's just going through the loop of this bullshit. But this is the general tenor of what he does the rest of the time. By the way, hi, chat room. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Share it out and about if you would. Now, I would dive into all that stuff, but really,